What's up, man?
Not much, dude. How about you doing, Lloyd?
I'm doing good.
Fuck yeah, dude.
How was your week?
Great. Birthday week. So.
Birthday week?
Exactly, dude.
Birthday boy. When was your birthday?
Monday. So I spent the weekend in Astoria, Oregon. Yeah. Gorgeous. Just super centered and recharged.
Happy birthday, man.
Appreciate it, dude.
Happy freaking birthday.
Yeah.
I'm pouring a beer ski here. Happy freaking birthday.
Yeah. No, dude, that place is beautiful. Oregon coast or any coast is it's a whole nother sort of realm of just like people and community. So I have a good story too. So we drove down obviously to Portland and spent the majority of the day in Portland, and then around 4 o'clock started heading to Astoria. And you can either head up towards the Oregon-Washington state line and then follow it along that, basically along that the river, or if you're in Portland, you end up going through Tillamook National Forest, which is great. It's like a 40-mile drive winding through a beautiful state forest. You actually go through Clatsop State Forest.
I think I've driven through there.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But what's funny, so the lady I was with, I told her that, hey, I'm gonna take a little power nap. Get gas before you hit Tillamook, because there's not another gas station for about 40 miles till you get through it, and it's seaside. And she's like, oh, okay. So I wake up from this nap 20 minutes later, and I'm looking at her, and she's like, hey, how are you? I was like, good, feel great right now after that nap. And I look at her tank, and I'm like, oh, it's a little low. And she's like, yeah, the last gas station was out of gas. And so I'm like, oh, all right. She's like, I don't know if we're gonna make it. And I'm like, oh no,
excellent.
Don't worry. There's yeah. It's my birthday. I spent the majority of Saturday drinking, so I'm just feeling all right. That what, universe is gonna give us what we fucking want, and we're just gonna be prepared, and we're gonna fucking deal with it. So thanks. It's I feel I held it together pretty well. It's probably the CBD and the beer held it together really well too.
Yeah,
because we get to this next spot called the Elderberry Inn. It's a restaurant and an inn, and there's a general store, and there's 2 gas pumps. And we got there at 8:25, and the gas pumps lock at 8 o'clock. So I walk up.
Of course they do.
I walk up to the general store, and
you see fucking Bigfoot next, right? Please tell me. Please tell me you see Bigfoot.
The locals, some of them look like Bigfoot, but I'll make this part of it short. So basically, I asked the guy in the general store, hey, I'll give you a $20 tip if you let us fill our tank. He's like, no, can't do, man. The gas pumps are locked. And I was like, cool, thanks. There's a lady sitting on the bench outside. I'm like, cool. Just gotta keep taking signs. Like, let me ask this lady. Like, hey, do you know anywhere we can get gas or anyone we can get gas from? And she goes, well, I've only lived here about a week. So in my brain, I'm like,
oh,
fuck,
shit.
You probably are stranded too.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you know how to get gas.
That's fucking sketch. She's like, I've only lived here a week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
But she's like,
that's
from what I hear, all the locals like to hang out at the Elderberry Inn restaurant, and there's a bar to it. So I'm like, dude,
I wouldn't go there, man. You went there.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. You fucking have to.
No, I'm just kidding. I'd be shitting my pants. I'm not gonna fucking go there. That's where you're gonna fucking murder my ass, chop me up, and put me out here, man.
Oh yeah,
dude.
I'd
be shitting my pants.
Some guy named Clyde's just gonna take you back to his shed and put makeup on you and tie you up and be like, you're gonna be my new wife.
Put the lotion in the
puts the lotions on the skins.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
So we get up there. Literally, you walk like 50 feet. So not even get up there. She's like, what are we doing? And I'm like, you're driving 50 feet and parking in front of this restaurant inn, and somebody in here is gonna give us gas. So I walk in, and we got no food. We got no Oh, sorry. Keep going. Oh, it was great. In my brain, I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking like, you're just gonna keep calm, man. Because you can call AAA, and if you can't call AAA, you can sleep in the goddamn Fiat. And then you know what? Tomorrow morning that thing is going to open up, and we're going to get gas when it's open. everything's gonna be cool. You're not gonna die. You don't have bear spray. You don't have a gun. We're in the middle of the woods. There's a bunch of locals out here that could probably bury us on 80 fucking acres. Not gonna think about these things.
Oh,
So I walk into this bar, and there's a girl, and there's basically 5 dudes sitting in this bar, and there's a girl bartender. And, I mean, the genders don't matter. I'm just giving you guys a fucking scene to paint. I go up to the bartender. I go, hey, quick question. Out-of-towners looking for gas. Who do I ask around here? And she's like, well, best bet would be asked the Dennises. And so I'm thinking, like, there's a family called the Dennises. No, there's 2 motherfuckers at the end of the bar named Dennis.
Oh, shit.
They're not even related. They're just both called Dennis.
Thank God they're right there.
And so
Dennis
everybody else is basically drinking Bud Light in a pint glass. So she goes,
fuck.
Dennis's! And these 2 guys, like, pop their head down the bar. And they literally, like, look like they've been going to high school, like, live their whole life in a 20-mile square radius.
Oh, shit.
And I'm dying at this point. In my head, I'm just like, holy God, we're going to ride out of here on ATVs. They're going to be like, yeah, you can get some gas if you will help me track these cougars and coons I got. A little trade for trade. Just like, oh, my Lord. So...
shit.
I'm looking down, and this hammered dude named Dennis with glasses. He's got the classic balding dad haircut where there's no hair on his head except for the baseball hat line. Comes up to me and he's like, yeah, I guess I can help you get some gas. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, cool, man, I'll buy you around. He's like, awesome. So he's starting to head out, and then this tweaky dude from the general store comes up to me and goes, hey, man, I can give you some gas now. And I'm like, I thought you said I couldn't get some gas. He's like, no, man, you got $20, I'll give you some gas. He gave us like 2 gallons of gas. Doesn't matter because it got us to the next gas station. But what perceived to happen after that, where we basically got drunk with these locals. The chick's name was, I want to say her name was Jane, but I wanted to call her Joanna, and she had a dead tooth. So in my brain, I'm like, dead tooth Joanna.
Dead tooth Joanna.
Yeah, just black and canine,
man.
right? And her favorite drink is a dirty Jaeger. Which is, it's
of course it is.
Jaeger bomb without the shot glass. You basically just fill half a pint with Jaeger and then the other half with Red Bull.
Oh, that makes me sick.
Trust me, I've done one Jaeger bomb.
I love Jaeger bombs. I've had maybe, I don't know, half a dozen maybe. The ones I've had, they were fucking awesome, but I don't know about what you just described.
It was just so surreal. I mean, it's like walking into a Twin Peaks episode, and it was hilarious. I'm sitting there. I bought Dennis a beer even though he didn't give us gas because he was kind enough. He's sitting there hammered telling me about how he can get $100 worth of lobster for $95 at Costco, and how what he loves to do, getting drunk at night, is take Caesar salad, cook up lobster, and mix it all together and eat it up. And he's so ecstatic about this. He is so overjoyed to tell me his fucking Caesar salad lobster recipe. Meanwhile, Dirty Joanna keeps trying to get me going on fucking more dirty Jaegers, and then I'm listening into conversations, and they're talking about how a local chick got fucked by a guy named Mark, but they don't know if it's Big Dick Mark or Little Dick Mark. So for what we thought would be like just 20 minutes of getting gas and getting out, we spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours there bantering with the locals.
He actually said all that shit.
Yeah.
Like you're not kidding me. He actually talking about.
Oh, dude, they all
everything
were.
you just said.
They all were. These people probably went to high school together and were getting drinks here in high school, and it's like they, until they die, they will forever be in those same spots. It was like a Sandlot-esque type of deal. Yeah. It was so perfect. And this is the first day of my debaucherous birthday weekend, which is really chill. Anyways, made it out. Went to Astoria. Astoria is great. Beautiful land out there. Definitely going to buy some land. It is like...
Astoria is fucking gorgeous, dude.
It's so great.
It's amazing.
It's so great.
It's the Northwest just on roids, but clean.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's so clean, dude.
We walked... There's like...
Man, I had to dive in and do the introduction here. We're 9 minutes in.
Yeah, man, that makes sense.
Happy fucking birthday, Austin.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I made it 26 years without dying. Here's to another year more.
Here's the, if you have a beer, put your glass up. If you didn't, hopefully you finished one within those last 9 minutes and moving on to number 2.
Exactly.
Here we go. This is hopefully this is Pack X. this is Pacific Xperience. Some cool shit happened. I told you last episode we're gonna have a Facebook, and we do. To the few likes and follows that we have, I thank you, and hopefully to many more if we can reach out and people can chime in and tune in. And so yeah, you can tag us on Facebook at PackXPod.
PackXPod.
PackXPod. Yeah, that's what it is. Is at PackXPod.
Burn it into your brains.
Yeah. It's let's see, I got a picture. Here we go. Yeah, PackX Podcast. Excuse me, I knew it was wrong there. Yeah, so at Facebook at PackX Podcast and Twitter at Pacific X PERIEN1. And download the app if you want to be notified when we come out with a new episode. It's called Podbean. Download it. Go ahead and follow us. I also recommend listening to some other podcasts on there. There's quite a lot of few. There's a lot of few.
There's a lot of few.
I changed my mind what I was going to say. I was going to say a lot of podcasts. I was going to say a few good guys doing a podcast.
Your brain is registering.
Yeah,
doing
I
edits.
thought of two different things there at once. But there's a lot of podcasts. There are a few good guys out there that have some good stuff. I recommend you chime in. If you like this, at least. If you like PackX, if you like listening to experiences from the Pacific Northwest, I recommend definitely diving into Podbean and listening to some other podcasts.
Absolutely.
Out there. There's some really good.
Absolute diversity in your life.
Yeah. Challenge yourself. Definitely be open-minded. Being open-minded is one of the, at least I believe, is one of the healthiest things that you can freaking do. You can get into a really destructive pattern with yourself if you're not open-minded. But to argue that there's a lot of people, a lot of few. there's a lot of people out there that are not open-minded, and I would consider what successful is defined in modern society, American society today, and they seem happy with themselves. And as far as if they're causing harm in the world or not, that's one thing. But if they're closed-minded, I mean, it's kind of like why would other people not be? I just feel like the open-minded people really hide. They hide their open-mindedness because it's shunned, in a sense.
Well, I think too. I think open-minded is. It's allowing you to see other people's perspectives and opinions and perceptions on the world. It doesn't mean you have to accept them, and that's okay. That's the whole point of being open-minded and being open, is you don't have to believe everything that is told to you by somebody else through their experience. I find people that tend to be a little more closed-minded to be like very rigid, and it's
rigid. Rigid is a good word.
It's this very like black and white, yes and no.
Mean? Just kidding.
Google it. I don't know what rigid means. Solid, hard, blunt, brusque. Let me just throw out a bunch of words that I think it might possibly correlate to it. I would agree, though. I think being open-minded is a fast track to learning, to being, I would say, more intelligent. Like open-mindedness and humbleness, I think, are really key things. It's not saying that you have to be like overly empathetic or sympathetic to everybody and everything, but to always register that you're small. You can always learn things. You're not always right.
You're small.
It is. It's true.
Yeah.
You're small.
Yeah.
It's like I know a lot about beer.
Yeah.
I pride myself in that.
I go
to somebody that's a computer science major that knows a lot about computer engineering, and I try to make them feel small with my beer knowledge. It may not fucking matter to them because what they're passionate about, and when they talk to me, and I would just sit there just like they look at me as small, and that's the whole point, is realizing that nobody is better than anybody else. I mean, we all have strengths.
I agree with that, man. I agree with that. Yeah, it's not that we define smart. I think what smart means. What let's even look that up. I think what smart means is more of a, not necessarily. I wouldn't say knowledge, but I guess the ability to. The amount of brain power you have, the amount of knowledge that you can obtain and hold and keep and remember, because what defines smart. I guess I understand the word wise. You can make a wise choice. I don't know about a smart choice. Like wise, I understand the definition of that. I feel like I believe that. I do not believe in the word wise. but I mean, smart. Oh, he's smart. They're smart. What does that mean? Oh, high IQ, graduated from here, graduated from there, achieved this, achieved that. There are so many stories of people who were defined as not smart in society and who did wonderful things that changed humanity, or at least advanced a part of humanity. And I think it's really something really deep to consider when it comes to our egos, because in society we're so caught up in our ego to where, I don't know, man, it's just part of growing up, because I feel like as I'm growing up I find myself seeing the ego more and more and more, and I find myself having to play that ego on a daily basis for survival. And it's not, I'm not sitting here sort of belly aching about it. It's just, I don't know, man, it's something I'd like to talk about, something I'm acknowledging. Like being open-minded to me is smart. That's smart. When I meet an older person, an elder, right, and if they're confused about, I don't know, dude, what's ever going on in the world, whether it be technology or what's going on in politics or whatever, and they're not open-minded about it, to me that's not being wise. That's not being what I define as smart. So what do you think defines as like smart when it comes to the whole ego thing?
I think I would agree with, I think now there is a whole lot of sort of, to put it plainly, like dick showing, especially because we
dick
are
flexing everywhere. Yeah,
because we are very fast-paced technology, and not even to say that, but just like culture and society has changed so much. This was a couple months ago. My grandma turned 76. She's fucking awesome, and she's very open and humble. I just asked her what was the biggest thing for you that's changed since you've been born? Like, what has been some of the most shocking things? And she said, sort of like tattoos and piercings.
You mentioned this in the last episode.
Yeah. And so to me, I think for her, she can understand and keep up. And in the last podcast,
to me, that's smart.
Yeah.
To me, that's wise, right? Open-minded, like accepting the change.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's what it comes down to.
I accept the change, but like I already don't like the way it's going.
No,
I'm having a hard time accepting the change. So am I being wise or smart? I feel like I'm being wise for not accepting the change.
I would say I feel like an older person sometimes, because I sit here and these kids, can rattle off. I mean, it seems like they have a whole, encyclopedia or a file cabinet folder about stuff they just intake and they could just remember and spit back out of you.
Yeah.
But then the point is to be like, okay, what you just said, do you have substance to that? Can you put your hands on it? Can you show me? Can you execute it well? It's great that you can tell me 150 different fucking things that you know, and as we sit here at this bar, you can, trump me. That's great. But when it comes down to the playing field, the things that I can talk about and I can execute to 110% to quality, to a really high working standard, and you can't, I think that's something I recognize, and that's where I have to be a little more open, because that's the environment these kids are growing up in. iPads, so many social media outlets. I mean, there's so many apps, there's so many interactive things that they deal with. The way they process is just like a supercomputer, because they're able to do, I mean, like, dude, I do maybe 2 social media apps. I do a thing called ViscoCam, which is for photo editing, and I do Instagram. But there's kids these days that do the Facebook. I do Facebook. They do Snapchat. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
Dude.
Then they have 8 other things, and then they have 4 other email accounts, like 1 for personal, 1 for work, 1one for their Tinder account.
Dude.
Like,
I'm submerged into that shit.
Yeah.
I actually, to those of you out there listening, I'm glad you're listening. If you check this out on Facebook, that's great. If you know me personally, my name is Lloyd. I don't use Facebook. I have my Facebook. It's still up. There's some personal shit on there I like to keep. I don't want to delete my Facebook, but I definitely do not use it. You can't?
Nope. You can only deactivate it.
Oh my god, effed up. That's why I don't use. See, I didn't even fucking know that.
Trust me.
Jesus,
When I was
you
a-
can't delete your.
When I was a
fucking
freshman in
Facebook?
college watching all those
What the
live leak
fuck?
videos, you deactivated.
Dude, my entire teenage fucking life is on there.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesus!
All those,
Why are people putting their lives
gonna
on
have
there?
the FBI
That's exactly.
knocking
Dude, I
down
saw
your-
this shit coming like 2 years ago. I stopped using my right before my baby was born. My baby was born. I was like, I don't want to go on Facebook. You know, I put everything on. I didn't want to keep up with it. Dude, when Facebook became a chore to me, I was like, no, I do not want to be held accountable through Facebook. To those of you out there, I love it when you tag me. I'll check. I will check Facebook once every couple months. I've checked it more recently with this Pack X going on there now because I'm
so there's
I'd
a
like to reach out.
different purpose for you checking it.
Yes, because I have to have my account
Yeah.
to have Pack X. And I tried to start an account with just Pack X with a separate email and everything, and it just I don't know. I was having a hard time with it. So and then I saw create a page with my personal profile. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to those of you out there if I haven't responded or something through Facebook. I also saw. Again, happy birthday! I also saw I had birthday wishes on Facebook, and I saw that a month later. So, because I don't use it.
Isn't that fucking lame though?
So hit me up. I've said the last thing I posted. I'm pretty sure I posted my number, and I was like, hey, text me if you want some. Anyways, but yeah, dude. So social media. Moving on to social media. I can't keep up with it because it's a chore to me.
Yeah, there's just
So as
so
long as
much
I'm-
and so fast.
So much so fast. And Twitter, I was into Twitter a little bit, just because I like to kind of see what's going on. I don't know, man. Twitter's kind of it's like cheating when it comes to know what's going on with stocks and stuff.
Mhm.
In a sense that dude, a good
I'd say that's a smart way to use it for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, well, a buddy of mine, I don't necessarily utilize that and act on it. I can't say, but a buddy of mine made a good point, and he's like, I don't read the news anymore, and instead of checking what's going on with the stock markets first, I just check Trump's tweets. Because Trump will be like, we'll say something before it's hitting headlines. He'll tweet it out of his pocket, and that's the age that we live in, man. So we live in the age where social media is, grab the hold of the people, in a social way. That's why it's called social media, and to where the government is now interacting with the people through social media. Specifically, and I think that was sped up dramatically because of Trump. I think that would have happened regardless, but I think Trump really just put the pedal on it, by having the attention of the world, at least through his pocket.
Yeah.
And versus just 60 years ago, if a president wanted to address the United States at once, everyone would gather around a television set. The president would sit there in front of the camera and speak to the people.
Yeah.
That to me, I'm wondering, what is more powerful, more meaningful, more powerful in the let's say in a good way. The president, a leader, speaking to the people that way, from 60 years ago, or now, from the pocket. And yes, it depends on the leader. Yes, it depends on what's going on at the time. But what's more effective?
Well, I think that's the whole point. Is that how can you? It's tough to say because Trump, I think, is the first president that's ever used social media to basically be his number one source.
Is it his number one?
I would say
at least it's got to be
because there's so many things he's put up before, and then when they do press releases or whatnot, that's what he gets talked to about his tweets, and then he'll give speeches or he'll say things that are totally contradicting, because it's he'll put it out, and then his writer's like, dude, we wrote this for you to say, and then you just totally contradicted yourself, or you said wrong. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Is this is the first time that we've ever had a authority figure.
Yeah.
I mean, when have you ever heard of the CIA director?
Just throwing a fucking tweet up
out.
we just signed this. Well, I don't know.
I'll just let you know that we killed Castro way back when. It's just I think other than Trump doing this, the biggest thing in sort of it deals with news leaks. Edward Snowden is what I'm getting at. When he released all those documents, that I think was a big one, because it's whoa, you did this not only through the internet but on multiple platforms, and there's You jeopardized, I believe, like agents and military operations. But I think that was the first time that, especially the world and the government, saw like, oh wow, like this is not something we can try and control. It is the new frontier. You've heard of they're trying to. Well, I think they passed it. Internet providers now can control bandwidth. I'm pretty sure.
Like net neutrality.
Yes. So net neutrality.
Yeah.
No longer. And what that got broken down to from what I saw on Last Week Tonight, John Oliver. It was a episode a long time ago. Basically saying that this whole net neutrality thing was the internet is not like something to be owned by companies because it was created and it's not like you can therefore claim parts of it like the fucking land rushes way back when. So what internet providers, and mainly there's two of them, I'm pretty sure it's Comcast and I think CenturyLink, but I'm pretty sure they are somehow connected. Anyways, what they said is like, oh well,
CenturyLink getting gangster.
Well, I don't know if they're like a subsidiary of Comcast, but pretty sure Comcast just owns fucking everything. Let's just say that for now, because they pretty much do.
I can believe that. Anyway, sorry, go on.
So, what they said was, all right, listen. So, like net neutrality, there has to be like a base, sort of like speed, and it's open to everyone. And then, of course, you can install more wires or fibers or whatever you want to have higher FPS and gigabytes per second and whatever that is. But that was protected by net neutrality, that they couldn't fuck with that. They couldn't fuck with download speeds or things as such.
As they fucking shouldn't.
But so what they tried to do before was like, listen, this is great that you have it, but just don't have it and trust us to do the right thing. And people voted on it and they said, well, no, that's if you're going to do the right thing, then this should just be in place. Because what has happened before is and it's great because the Comcast spokesman via John Oliver, he was giving like this little talk to a news station, and he was talking about if there wasn't net neutrality, what they would offer, and it's the worst sales pitch and total utter bullshit. This guy's sitting there, he goes, okay, so if we didn't have net neutrality, listen, so you'd have your base speed, but then for a small amount of money you could upgrade to even a faster speed. And let's just say, so you have your base speed, but then there's this faster speed for just a little more. And it's better. And then you could have an even faster speed for a little more money. And this guy basically reiterates about 3 or 4 more times that the more money you pay, the faster download speed you could get. And that's what net neutrality is protecting, is that you can't fuck with that download speed, depending on what people are paying. And when that comes to low-income families, low-income families that need it for email, for work. And,
of course.
It's like,
of course.
You can't do that because
that's
you can't
ultimate
pay
control
this.
Because a lot of shit is relied on the internet now.
And I know I
am very disappointed.
working on the soundboard, but I know for a fact Netflix actually got in trouble for it. And this is a while ago, so I don't have pristine fucking details, but they got in trouble for fucking with download speeds, and it was for lower income areas.
Really?
For streaming for videos and things like that. And so if people want to fact check me, that's cool, do it.
Is that why I never see a problem? I have not seen a problem with Netflix in the place where I'm currently living right now. In the place where I'm currently living there's some somewhat wealthy places around it. I haven't experienced any issue with it. But the last place I lived at, I don't know, maybe that was just the internet connection or something. There could be a bunch of
Well, and I think that's always things to look at. Is, you have a wealthier neighborhood where everybody has a standard of like, oh, we don't just have the regular like Comcast box. We have this,
I see.
So,
this neighborhood has the fiber optics
it makes sense.
Installed.
I'd say like for their business standpoint, they'd be like, why would we
devote
more resources to a low-income neighborhood to give them the same download speed for episodes, as if you would in Canterwood and Gig Harbor, which, I mean, that's where
we're from in Canterwood is a very hoity-toity $1 million mansion place. When you look at those two parallels, business people would be like, well, yeah, of course, give the $1 million people faster downloads so they buy more shit and they give us more money, and low-income people.
Other than that, but wouldn't you think it would cost maybe more money to have higher quality internet things downloaded, but not downloaded, but internet equipment installed to provide internet service to a ranged neighborhood, right? A ranged neighborhood. I mean, versus neighborhood A, neighborhood B, neighborhood C, right? And neighborhood B is going to have decent, connection. Neighborhood A is going to have wonderful, and neighborhood C just barely.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that that's the correct, but neighborhood A happens to be the wealthy neighborhood. Neighborhood C happens to be the low-income neighborhood. That's what you're saying. So it seems like my opinion is what they should fucking do if that's the way. I can understand that, but price should be different, and it shouldn't be. I guess they offer that to us. Oh, you can choose this or that, to increase or enhance your speeds. But what you're saying is they're doing that completely under the table. Controlling that is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, and I'll say I think it was Netflix was the people who got in trouble. I'm not sure the details because it was a long time ago I read it, but that there was affection in speeds in regards to lower income places versus, and that very well may be the case, just because if everybody in your neighborhood has internet, whereas only a couple people do. Maybe they're just like, well, why do we need to devote as much of a resource? Because it's got to be about the same. I mean, honestly. So I would assume download speed. If there's a place that is having trouble downloading at a certain rate, you obviously have to boost that strength, or you have to do something to make it just as the same as if you're in a well-to-do neighborhood where there's lots of people. Again, this could be total bullshit. I don't care. Let us know. Let me know that I'm wrong, and that's great. This
Email
is just what I
us
remember.
at Pacific Xperience. That is PACIFICXPERIENCE at gmail.com.
But
that is us.
absolutely.
Sorry.
No, and I was just gonna bring it way back because this is the little rabbit hole tangent. But yeah, that's the whole point about what they're saying is that the internet is the last wild frontier in terms of technology, where there shouldn't be somebody being able to control it and border it off.
Yeah.
And that will definitely start happening. It's not a trustworthy good thing. We see what happens when businesses have control of rule and power, and it's never a good sign, dude.
No,
because
they don't care about us.
They're
They
made
care
to
about
make money off
themselves.
people, man.
Yeah, they care about themselves, as everyone should care about themselves, and everyone should care about their business. Everyone should look out for each other. But what happens, the problem, and I believe everyone's intention is that, man. But what happens is when you get too powerful, you don't give a fuck anymore. And eventually, you need to take from others to become more powerful. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm down here, but that's what it looks like is going on up there, and there's a lot of evidence and a lot of proof, and it's very clear and right in front of our faces. But I admire anyone who works hard. I admire people who own things. I want to do that. I admire it. I love it. I am part of capitalism. I love capitalism. I love the United States. I love the history of the government. But at the same time, everything I just listed, I fucking hate at the same time. I loved all of those things at one point. I loved the intention of all of those things. But man, do I feel like it's pretty screwed up right now. But anyways, as Austin said, we're jumping out of that fucking rabbit hole and we're going on a fucking break. This is Pac X, Pacific Xperience. Pacific Xperience. Experiences from the Pacific Northwest. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going on break, and we'll see you soon.
You're getting better and better at that soundboard, man. Let me fucking tell you.
I love it. I fucking love it. All right.
Dude, I got a great little bit of Northwest news for you.
You have some some what? Some news from Seattle?
Some Northwest news.
This is Pack X. We're back. We're back from the break. We're back from the break. Please
Here
check
we
us
are.
out on Facebook. Tag us at Pack X Podcast. At Pack X, that's PACX, the letter X, podcast. And check us out on Twitter if you want to follow us. Check out our podcast a little bit more on the tweet. There is Pacific Xperience 1. And if you want to reach us through Gmail, it's the same thing, Pacific Experience at Gmail. And check us out, of course, on Podbean. Right now, we are... What? Where are we at here? We are at 179 downloads right now with 9 postings.
179 great people out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or one person that made 179 profiles and downloaded it once each time.
That was not me. Thank you so much, everyone. Austin, what news do we have from the Northwest?
So, and this is exciting. I mean, it's a bit sad, but
I don't like sad shit, dude.
it's not super sad. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
somebody died, but so
It happens. It's sad.
for the first time since 1920, so in almost a decade, somebody was killed by a mountain lion in Washington State.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait. How long ago was this?
recent, like week.
Oh no, I didn't hear of that.
There's two bikers,
Did I?
and they were out mountain biking in North Bend, is what I read.
North
through a bunch of-
Bend?
Yeah, North
Okay.
Bend.
Okay.
So I mean, North Bend, it's great. There's Tiger Mountain.
North Bend.
There's some definitely
Tiger Mountain.
yeah. We're talking about mountain lions, pumas, cougars, But
So be fucking careful at Tiger Mountain.
it's all, dude. It's not at all not giving sympathy, because obviously sympathy to the victim of the man who died. It was two males. I'll give a short rundown. They were out mountain biking, and they were going down mountain biking trails, and they started getting chased while they were mountain biking, and
Fuck that.
they made it into an open clearing and turned around and started to fight off this cougar, which they hunted down this cougar and they killed it. They euthanized it. And from the reports of how old it was and how much it weighed, it was severely underweight. It was 4 years old.
when you
and
when you say they, was that who
Oh,
was
park
that?
ranger people.
Okay,
Park
okay.
ranger,
Gotcha. Yeah.
Washington State Wildlife. Those people deal with those types of incidences, and they typically try to identify why these things happen. So this is not something that is common. Encountering animals in the wild is common, but cougars, especially mountain lions or any feline predator, cats, are really good at what they do. So
Of course.
them attacking animals is very humans, I apologize, is very out of behavior, because it's usually dealt with, whether it's starvation,
They know.
wounds.
Yeah.
And they're
fucking
very
animals on this
proficient at
planet
what they
all
do.
know that
I
we-
mean,
who we are.
I think if you
Just
go
stay the fuck
outside
away.
consistently, you learn that we are just soft-bodied, meaty little jelly sacks that don't have any claws. We don't have any sort of defense mechanism other than
Except
if you
for
have
our
a gun.
inventions.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for our inventions.
Exactly.
That
Um,
evolutionized on top of each other's
And that's why it's
inventions.
always a
Yeah.
thing to know. One, whenever you're out, either bring something loud or be with a group of people. Bear spray is great. I personally have a tomahawk, and granted, tomahawks can be used in multiple ways in terms of
Fuck, dude, if I had to take a
there's-
tomahawk to a fucking animal attacking me in the woods, holy shit,
Oh, it's-
my dick would grow 6 fucking inches,
It's
dude.
not- it is not-
My fucking facial hair
That-
would grow
I was
like
about to
at
say,
least
you-
3.
Yeah, dude, you would grow a full mountain.
Or maybe the other way around.
It is
I don't
not.
know.
It's not the most ideal.
Maybe,
but
I don't know.
Definitely for being out in the woods often, as opposed to walking around with a spear. There's not a whole lot of rules in terms of what you can't open carry. I mean, people and I guarantee they're probably like sovereign citizens or they're active like militiamen. I
Yeah.
see people in full, full army dress camo with their AR-15s out there and face masks.
Jeez.
And, Bayou hats, basically. I see it all the time.
Oh, I don't know, if I was to go hunt something like that then I guess I would dress to impress
Yeah.
the best.
So obviously, it's being safe and being in numbers, but they do talk about, and this is pretty much given, if you are going to be attacked or an animal is trying to attack you, you have to stand and fight it because they live off natural instincts. And the second that an animal turns around and runs, they call it the bully tactic, but that
Yeah.
animal then knows that this animal is afraid of me. And that sort of
Then it's like,
hypes them up even
yeah,
more.
Yeah, of course.
So it only triggers more of their predatory instinct to try and kill you. Whereas if you sit there and you basically just go primal, just scream, yell, beat it with things, like
Yeah.
do whatever you
That's
can
what-
to
that's-
make it
that's
seem
what you
like
do.
this
Yeah.
thing is not going to die easily. And
Yeah.
that typically, people that have been attacked, typically that is what can deter them. If they're not deterred by
Well, that's how
group
animals
loud
communicate.
noises,
Raw, you whatever the fuck it is.
Yep.
Like, oh, I don't want to fuck with you.
Yep.
Humans do it amongst humans by, what? I don't know. Signs of.
I mean, it usually comes
being
from inebriation.
Alpha,
Yeah.
I don't know what like instinctively. I'm not talking like nice car and shit. I'm saying like.
I was thinking about drunk guys at bars that just want to.
I
don't like the way you square dance, boy.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your shirt's not tight enough.
But
Yeah.
so what happened?
That's our instinct though, man. That's our instinct.
But you know what's funny is
We
that's
are
all
animals.
over like reproduction. It's
Yeah.
all in hopes that there's some girl out there that's just like, oh, I love how you beat up that dude 100 pounds less than you. Do you just want to stick your seed in me? Like that's
Holy
what
shit.
our drive is. Whereas there is survival, and that's what it will always trump.
Holy
Always
shit.
trump.
Yeah.
But so what happened is they got chased while they were mountain biking, and they were in this open field and they were fighting it. They were sitting there making noises. It kept coming after him, and one guy actually hit it with his bike. He took his bike and bashed it with it, which is great because when you got adrenaline pumping through you, your bike probably weighs nothing. So swing that thing like a goddamn baseball bat, dude. If an animal is trying to kill you,
yeah,
you better have the mindset to just be He-Man and live, and you should try and kill it.
And definitely once you strike like that, it's now gladiator.
Oh,
it's now to
absolutely.
the death. No one's leaving this ring
Absolutely.
until someone dies.
But there
Yeah.
were some interesting things about this attack, and granted, again, because it's been the only, other than, and this was it was like in the 1920s, a 12-year-old got killed by a mountain lion.
What, that was like the last time?
Yes, that
You
somebody
kidding?
died.
That was the last time?
Yeah,
that
that
someone
somebody died
That just wasn't an
by
attack, but
mountain
when
lion.
someone passed away.
Exactly.
Like
There have
12-year-old, that's
been
sad. That's
there
fucked up.
have been 7 mountain lion attacks where they haven't killed people since
Yeah.
1990. And granted, you have to understand people moving out into areas where there's more woods, or you're moving into their territory. But
Fuck yeah, you are.
so
You're
part of
fucking
that
right,
is just
man.
population and change and just the world. But anyway, so they fought it off, and then they were sitting there gathering their breath, and it came at him again, and it actually blindsided one and jumped on his head. Or it jumped on him, but it grabbed him by his head and was trying to break its neck. It was basically just shaking it side to side like a predator does.
Yeah.
The other biker started running, and it started chasing him, and that was the other person. That was the person it killed. So the person that got jumped on and latched on by the
wow.
head, the person that turned and ran,
I thought the story was the other way around.
it killed. No, and that's what's sad. It's such a weird turn of coincidence
That's
that this
fucked,
guy
dude.
is getting mauled, and this person gets afraid and runs, and it leaves, and this person had lacerations on the face and neck and whatnot, but they
Well, dude, I mean, yeah, dude. When you're telling that story, if you're seeing, especially your friend, being killed, like going from being alive to dying, being blindsided by, I haven't been in that situation, and I pray that I never will be. But I can't say that I wouldn't run. My deep heart says I would not run, but instinctively, if your brain is thinking like, oh, he's already gone, and I'm the next target. I better get a head start. I feel like I wouldn't even have time to process those thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe I would. Maybe I'd handle it like a champ.
And that's the
Maybe
thing.
I wouldn't. I don't know.
How do you know until you're tested?
How do you know until you're in that situation?
It's crazy.
Fuck.
So yeah, that was interesting because a coworker told me, and I was like, "What? No way!
That's sad.
No fucking way!" But
That's a lesson though too.
I'd say
You
this
gotta
is the
learn
Pacific
from-
Experience
This
podcast.
is
So if you're
definitely
if you're
Pacific
out
Experience.
here, hiking, definitely just be safe. Hiking numbers, carry loud stuff. I really don't
Be
give a
loud
shit
with
to
bears.
hear your Odessa and dubstep on the.
Please
On the
keep
trail.
Okay, yeah, yes. Listen, and even to those of my friends who are listening, who have done this, do not play music when we're hiking. Please don't. Maybe if we get to a spot and it's already been like an hour of silence on the beach, maybe. Even then, no, not
Yeah.
dubstep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Please keep the music on. And same with the other people out there. If I hear music in the woods,
And that's why you're out
I
there.
fucking hate that,
But
dude.
I think what people don't
I
realize
like
is
to
when
hear anything
when you're
but that.
playing
I'll hear
music,
yelling and laughter and whatever,
you want to hear conversation.
Conversation.
You go
What,
out there
trees
to get away.
breaking,
You don't
gun
go out there to be like,
shooting,
oh,
whatever.
cool, I brought my mini fridge and I have a microwave to do these pizza pockets. You want pizza? You want dirty Jaeger bombs? I brought all this shit from home, dude, so we can feel like home. No, nobody
Austin,
wants to
you're
hear
out of
that.
Astoria, bro.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over.
But,
you're home.
When you play music, when you run, especially don't bring headphones and listen to music in headphones in the woods. The whole point is you need to be aware, especially now it's getting nicer, but springtime entering summertime is the most time you'll encounter animals. So you should be able to at least hear if something is
Yes.
coming up on you.
Always.
Helps you pay better attention and have trail etiquette. But yeah, have bells.
Never go alone. If you're going somewhere that is, let's just say farther than yelling distance from a main road, even that's pushing it. Don't go alone if you're not, at least experienced, equipped.
Yeah.
Equipped and,
And equipped, I would
Ready.
say. I mean, handguns are
by
a great
experienced, I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I consider myself experienced for going and hiking alone. And I know my boundary. I know where I should not go alone. There's places that I would love to go alone that I have never gone alone because it's just not smart, because you fucking fall and hit your head.
Yeah.
Anything, dude, to where there's a chance where you could survive it if someone was there to fucking help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so just for all obvious reasons. And also too, in this scenario with bears are, if you see a bear, or like Austin was saying, anything, be loud and try to appear as big and as loud as possible and as dominant as possible, and do not move, and stand your ground.
Yeah.
For sure, dude. I have a story about someone getting attacked as a lesson learned, but it's not from the Pacific Northwest. It's actually not from the United States. But
Where's it at?
these it was in Africa now, but it was these people who told me the story, and they were there on vacation, and there was another couple on vacation, and there was a guy, two guys, from the place that they were at. That was their home, and they were leading them through this rendezvous. You can kind of imagine where I'm going with this now. Hey, the tour.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And they're
Little safari.
Yeah, exactly. So, which to us, the reason why I'm telling the story, why I think it might be interesting to listen to, is because to us, when you say that, I think of the movies, right? I think of the movies. I don't think of the movies anymore. I like to think of Planet Earth and shit. But when I hear of a tour, like specific people with cameras, whatever, no cameras, I don't know, being toured, looking at stuff, I think of the movies. I think of what I've seen in the movies, because I've never truly seen that. And to me, in the movies, it's safe. You know what I mean? Like Americanized. You know what I mean? Westernized, I should say.
Yeah.
And but this story being told to me is like, the way they told it, and with the emotion expression on their face, was like, this is so not Americanized, which made me more intrigued to go on a tour like that. And I've already that's already been on my bucket list, dude. I would love to go somewhere to where there's live animals, where from a terrain I've never seen, and I'm in their territory in a sense, not in a fucking zoo, and it's the wild, and I'm safely being navigated through this, having it shown to me like an American likes to have shit just presented to you through a glass wall with your safety and your popcorn and your iPhone in your hand, right? That's something that I've always wanted to do. They're telling me this story, and through the expressions, dude, like as far as I've even gotten to it, which is barely into it, I can already tell this is epic. This is not safe. It's not westernized, which makes it what it is, I would guess. I haven't been on one, but that makes me want to go on one. That's fucking amazing, dude. That's what we're talking about, detaching. You know what I mean? Like, go put yourself, like, we are small. What you're saying earlier, man, like, go travel. Go realize how small you are in this world. You know, how much difference there is. Go realize how uncomfortable you are, you know? And they're telling me this story, and they're in there, and they're in a swamp. Not swamp.
River?
Damn it. It's the hippo, and these hippos are just hanging out, and they're peaceful. In front of them, he's just like literally just doing everything else that they're all doing, which is rowing. And fucking out of the water, this hippo comes up and grabs his oar and yanks it, and yanked him a little bit. He let go of the oar and yanked him towards them, and the hippo grabbed him and shook him, like in what you told me reminded me of the shaking. And they shook him and took him underneath. Very sad. I hate to share sad shit like that on this podcast, but I've watched Planet Earth, right? I've not seen these animals real. I've seen them at the zoo. I've not seen them in their wild. I haven't left. I've not gone over there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've not gone over there and seen this in person. I've seen it through the lens, man. But hearing a story told, sometimes to me, and this is why I like to podcast, man. That's why I listen to podcasts. Hearing a story told to me sometimes is so much more powerful than seeing it on TV. And sometimes I feel like good jobs are done. Planet Earth is fucking amazing. I feel like that's the best you can do through a lens to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
Submerge yourself into it.
People, it's their lives.
The first one, and Planet Earth 2, I fucking love it. I've watched both sets multiple times, and I will continue to do that. And I recommend that to everyone. I've seen these creatures at the zoo, which is sad as fuck. I hate zoos, by the way. But hearing a story told, man, can be so... I don't know, at least for me, it can take me and put me there a lot better than some headphones and a screen, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And these people told the story, so I just got sad, obviously, and just like told it in the shittiest fucking way. He's gone, yeah. Shittiest fucking way possible. And I didn't finalize with that, yeah. But I told it in the shittiest way possible, but the way that they told me the story was very impacting. And my conclusion, I'll stop with this now. My conclusion with it is I had a big takeaway from this, obviously. I have a lot to say about a very short, simple, sad story. And my takeaway from it was, wow. Wow. Planet Earth is fucking real. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
And dude, I've heard tons of stories from people with interactions all over the world, like people real telling me stories, and my point is that those stick with me, and I don't know. I think that people should tell their stories, man, and whether it's hard to tell or not, because you give lessons. I take lessons. Things change me, man. When I hear something that impacts me, I would like to think I like to learn a lesson from it. Things have made me not that. I don't always mean being fearful of something, but I don't know, man. Have you heard any lessons that have like changed your life that you've heard or that have been told to you in person?
I mean, yeah. There's a lot.
Which exactly, there's a lot for me too.
I guess it's hard to.
What do you got?
It's hard to pick out one. I guess I think just from so many experiences, I would say not death of people like in my family, but people that I know. But like this life is so short, and it seems very vague and hippie-ish to say, but it is. It's like live somewhat sort of selfishly, and don't waste your time doing things for other people that don't matter or don't appreciate it or doesn't make you happy. I mean, it's so vital. And I think when we get out here and like we're talking about, animals and nature, I mean, that just shows you want to be in that realm of competing with nature. You could live one day and die the next, and that's the same thing here.
Absolutely,
and maybe
that's how I felt. I think when you realize someone's mortality being taken.
Yep.
I think when you see it, or when it just impacts you enough, you question your own mortality. And when you question your own mortality, your self-consciousness, I think, reaches levels up. I like to think of levels up of being more conscious of thyself, right? So when people are touched by passings or their mortality, I think you can handle it several different ways.
Oh yeah,
several different ways. Speaking of these animals, I actually listened to a hunter on a podcast. His name's Cameron Haynes. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast actually a couple weeks ago, the Joe Rogan Experience. I recommend listening to it. They talk about hunting, and Joe Rogan talks about his hunting experience with Cameron Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a bow hunter.
Yeah,
Joe?
they talk about bow hunting.
Okay.
And these guys are Cameron Haynes. This guy, that's his life. It's bow hunting. And as you can imagine, Joe Rogan being as good as he is at telling stories, and sharing his opinion about things, Cameron Haynes is very good too. And dude, they tell a fucking rockin' story, man. And they don't just tell a great story, but they make a very, very good point about taking an animal's life, or being a human being, a man, a fucking earthling, a human being, and how we need to, there's a part of us in our DNA that needs to hunt, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think people can substitute that instinct that is naturally in us for something else.
Yeah.
Instead, I need to hunt a date. You know what I mean? I don't know. Hunt wealth, maybe.
I see. That chase.
Yeah,
Chase
exactly. That chase. But I'm not going to go off a tangent here. But that's how we get to be controlled. Is if you can hone that chase, as we're animals, just like we can hone animals. Then, anyways, dude, these Cameron Haynes and Joe Rogan, they're telling the story, and they're bow hunting, and they take out. I'm not gonna go. You just listen to it. I recommend listening to it. It's super good. But where I'm going with this is they express. How to say it? They express the feeling of self-consciousness and being alive and realizing your power as a human, but realizing how it can be taken just as quickly as you can take others.
Yep.
And I think that changes
that's a really
lives
smart view.
when you realize that.
Wow.
I don't know. It took me a while to spit that out. I was trying to think of a way to phrase it, but
I think that was really well worded.
when you realize that, man, you level up in self-consciousness.
It's like you understand responsibility, but also understanding somebody just as reckless or even dumber could take it from you, and you're just like,
Yes.
whoa.
Yes. Who is less than you?
Yeah.
And it can be an accident, and it can be, I don't like to get all freaked out, get negative, but it is something you acknowledge. People who are so obsessed with positivity, I love it. I'm like that. Don't be so stubborn.
Yeah. And I think
be wise,
too, it
because
teaches
being
you to
stubborn
be
is what
wise,
causes mistakes and causes lives.
Be wise and sort of be like when we talk about being open, it's like being observant. Be well guarded. Understand that there are dumb people that are great at manipulating and taking advantage of people. That for people that are like optimistic, hardworking, and open, and think like, oh, everybody, thinks similar, or you can teach somebody to think this similar. Whereas there are some people that are very like sneaky, low-handed that realize like, oh, this person thinks this way, and I just know how to exploit that and use them for what they are, and then,
Yeah. But that's, I don't know. I think that people wouldn't be that way if it wasn't for others being that way. So it's kind of like, I think the way that we are terrible to each other, right? as human beings.
Yeah.
As a species is the equivalence of
It's the play ball aspect.
well, it's the equivalence of what
Everybody
came
else
first.
is doing it. You're either on one team or the next. You know, you're either being
Yeah.
shisty and cheaty and an asshole, or doing those things where it's just like, well, everybody else is doing it, so I might as well do it too to get ahead. Or you fight against the grain and you prove them wrong.
But what came first, the chicken or the egg? That's what it's like. What came
True.
first, the greed or man?
I just think,
You know?
I would say, like, I don't
Did greed
think
come with us, or did greed
I would say
evolve into our genetics from someone who started greed?
I mean, if I was going to
You know?
believe it, I would like to think that it was the other way around. I think that there was good, hardworking people that knew the reputation and value and their work of their like amount of work they were worth.
Yeah.
But obviously, you get people along that are like they're manipulative, they're conniving, and they see that and they go like, oh, well, I can use this person, and I can there's some aspect that they do like ease or help them. They obviously have to pitch something to them to make them think like, hey, what you're doing, I can make it better if you give me a cut.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
that's what it turns from.
Yeah.
Now, I definitely think we're in a day where there's so many businesses, but that's also the great thing is you can have a bunch of shitty, conniving businesses that all offer the same product for super cheap that you could bounce around to, or there's people that withstand the test of time in terms of they have quality, long-term standing relationship, all those things, and that's sort of what Americana was built on. If you keep your values, son, and you just do really good at what you do, and you just help your town, like your reputation will stand, and I think that can be very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all mixed now.
That's the way that society
Fuck
rolls
you,
now.
Comcast, is what I'm saying. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Comcast. We fucking do not.
My high school
fucking
gaming
like
career
you.
was ruined because of your dirty little messing around with of my internet speed.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. Well, everyone, we gotta wrap it up. But thank you so much for tuning in again.
No, appreciate it. And again, talk to us. Let us know.
Yeah,
We
let us
enjoy you
know.
all.
I really want to get some feedback and give us some stories. We love hearing stories about the Pacific Northwest and stories from around the world, and positive, sad, whatever the fuck it is. Let's learn some shit. Let's have a good time. Let's drink a beer, and let's express and talk and whatever the fuck. Thank you so much. Woo! This is Pac X.
Pacific Xperience.
Pacific Xperience. Man, that was good.
No, that
was
was
good.
some good rhetoric.
I didn't tell them what beer we were drinking, though. I always usually say what beer we're drinking. Oh, it's still recording. Oh shit! I better put my wig back on.
So,
I don't want them to know that I don't have any hair. I do have hair, actually. Anyways, we're drinking Rude Parrot.
Rude bird.
Rude
Bit
Bird.
of rude bird.
Little bit of Rude Bird. A little bit of Rude Bird. Yep. Just so you know, that's what
Rude
we're
Bird.
drinking. IPA's fucking good. Thank
Let's-
you so much, everyone, for tuning in. This is Pacific Xperience. And we're definitely tuning out now. We'll see you
Yes.
next week.
Next week, Tuesday. Log on. Post some-
Shukadi!